Hi, my name is Olivia and I am a third grade teacher in New Hampshire, and today I'm going to give you a tour of my classroom. So just a little bit of background for you. This is my second year teaching, and this year our school is under construction. So I was in the school building last year, had a beautiful, nice big classroom, but it's an old school. So right now the school each wing is being under construction at a time. So just about every teacher in our school has had to move classrooms either at the beginning of the year or in the middle of the year this year. So I, in third grade, the third grade team was moved out to the portables for the year. And the good news about that is that we've been here all year. We didn't have to move halfway through the year or anything. But the hope is that we will be back in the school building once construction is done in June. So fingers crossed, but it's been great out here in the portables. Nice little homey classroom that we have, but it is very, very small. I will miss it out here, but I'll be glad to have some space to have some tables and center areas for my kids. Whereas right now, when they're able to sit around the room, which is a good portion of the day, I don't have them sit at their desks all day. We mainly just sit on the floor because that's what we have, and you make do with what you have in a classroom. So I'm excited to show you around. So I am sitting at my small group table right now, and this is what our classroom looks like. Just a quick around the room for you. And back to the door that we entered through. So this is our door that we enter in through. There's a little lobby, we call it the lobby there since we don't have a hallway, a lobby that we come in through. This is my closet, and then this is a bathroom, which is one of the things I will be very happy to be rid of when we are back in the school, because tiny little bathroom shared by 2 classrooms I'm ready to be done with it. But back over here towards our entrance, we have our Chromebook cart here. And now last year I had a file cabinet right near my door, and I put all the kids' names on magnet letters. They're on the other side, but obviously I'm not showing. And I put bathroom, nurse, with another teacher, dismissed early. Last year I had a few more things, but while we're out here in the portables and we don't really leave this room much, those are kind of the options that I have. But every morning the kids take their names and they move them from absent to present, which is on the other side, so I can clearly see who's absent. And then if they go to the bathroom or to the nurse, or if they leave, they just move their name, and they're very good about it. So that's one thing that's worked out great for us. Here's our ELA bulletin board, whiteboard, and math bulletin boards, and small group area over here. Now, even though being out in the portables has its challenges, I have really, really loved the setup of this room, just kind of where everything is, the amount of whiteboard space I have, the amount of bulletin board space I have. It's been amazing. So I'm really gonna miss that next year and kind of hope to replicate some of the things that we've done in this classroom. So this is how I store our math games and math center activities. We're using a really great math curriculum this year. It's competency based. So the kids work on fluency practice. They can reach right in here and grab a game. So I've used mainly Tupperware or these great Ziploc bags that I got on Amazon to put all of our games in. And then I just got these label squares from Target and printed out the labels for all of the games. So took a lot of prep and organization, but it's really going to be worth it in years to come. So I have all of their multiplication fluency games in here, have addition and subtraction games in here. Top It's a really big one that the kids love to play. So this is where they can just grab games for that fluency time, and they know we have a good system in our classroom. They can just grab whatever. And then I also have plenty of math games that I prepped from Teachers Pay Teachers, buying games and just printing and laminating them into these baggies. We do a lot of task cards in our class as well, so I store those in there, and then that's great because I just have my math games here. But then once we get to the unit, that's standard. Say we're working on area and perimeter right now, so you can see I have some of the task cards up around our room. So yeah, that's been one system that's worked really, really well for us. Here is my small group area. So over here, this has worked out really, really well. I'm gonna hold it back here just for kids' names are all up there, so for confidentiality. But one thing you can see over here, these are magnetic names. I just have the kids' names listed on these. And when I'm up at my small group table, you can see I have the green, yellow, and red lights. Most of the time I have that arrow on yellow. Green means come up whenever, you don't even need to ask a question. It is rarely on green, but the kids like to move it back to green at the end of the day. Yellow means I'm busy, I'm working with another student, but if you put your name under yellow and you put them in order in a line, then I will call you when I am able to. Red is rarely used. Red is just if I'm testing with a student and I really can't have anybody interrupting, but even when I am testing with students, it's mainly on yellow. So that's been a really great system for us this year. It's worked out very, very well. So this is my small group area. Got our math board, mainly math materials that we have up here. This has worked out super well with this cart. Actually, the best thing that I got as part of this cart were these bins that I have for pens and markers and scissors, the Expo markers. I learned this from my mentor teacher when I was in school, but just getting felt and cutting that up works the best for whiteboard erasers. But yeah, I actually would, if there was space over here, I would invest in more of these because I am constantly just grabbing these right off or taking right from them so the kids can use whatever materials they need when they come up. This is kind of like our math area. I have 2 math boards here, and then our math skip counting numbers are right next to it. So kind of like our math area. Around to our Clear Touch, which I use all day, every day. This is my teacher desk. Doesn't get used much, but I will probably always have a teacher desk just because for paper storage, for files inside. I like to sit on top of the desk and teach, so probably will continue to have one next year, but I also have support in the classroom, so this is a great place for other adults to sit as well. Homework bin, unfinished work, turn-in bin. So this is my classroom library. So I was lucky enough to be given an entire classroom library full of books from the teacher whose room I took over last year. And lots of books is amazing, but it has been a big process organizing those. So I'm still working on it, but these bins from Target have worked out really well. I tried just on the shelves, I tried smaller bins, I tried sorting by level, by genre. Right now I have nonfiction over here. And then I have series, some of my series sorted, like A to Z Mysteries, The Magic Tree House, and Goosebumps. I have plenty of those books, so I did sort those. But then most are just in chapter books, and that's worked very well for us this year. The kids have done a good job of putting library books back, and I guess that won't always be the case, but for this year it works. And more books over here, tons of books, and then they just return their books to the book return when they are done, and either me or our student helper will just put these books back. And then extra Chromebooks that don't fit in our Chromebook cart. Okay, so right over here is our quiet corner. Now I had a quiet corner in my room last year and it was a game changer for one of my students. Obviously all the students love it, but I find that it can be a really, really helpful place for students to take a second if they're feeling frustrated or overwhelmed. And it's also just a great reward. I use it for every day I have a student teacher of the day, student helper. And if they're student helper, they get to sit in the quiet corner during our like independent small group time. So here's our quiet corner. Got some pillows on the ground. They love to come sit back here just with one friend. It's very small. And then I also have puzzle pieces, which I got from my mom. She is a teacher, and I have a bunch more at home, just didn't have the space for them this year, but I plan to bring a bunch of those in next year, and the kids really love to just take one of these and sit on them. So if you don't want to invest in a rug and you have puzzle pieces, or you know someone who has them, these are great. So then back here is just storage. So this file cabinet, funny story, when I was moving into my first classroom, I had a ton of stuff from the teacher who was in there, but I didn't have a ton of furniture. And this file cabinet was in my neighborhood in front of someone's house for free, but about 20 houses away from me, and I didn't have a big car to put it in, so I literally rolled it on a rolling cart from 20 houses away to my house. But you know, that's what you do when you're a teacher and there's free furniture outside. So just have a bunch of guided reading books. Don't use those so much anymore. Games down at the bottom, and then chapter book series up top. So this is our little quiet corner, our little nook. We love it. Back around, we have a table that the students love to sit at. Again, once I am back to a bigger classroom with more space, I love having tables and more group center areas for the kids to sit at. Right now they just sit on the floor, and that makes them happy, and they're kids, they're just happy to have some freedom and choice, but I would love to have more tables around the room next year. And then these are our desks. Because of space, I did 3 big groups of desks this year, and honestly, having a small space this year has showed me a lot of things that I want to do in the future. I love these big groups. They work out so well. Over here I have a group of 8, and the kids work in groups of 4, but they're still all together, and it makes, you know, it gives us plenty of space, and it also gives more team working opportunities. Yeah. And then back around here, our classroom mailboxes. So I don't use these as typical mailboxes like most teachers do. I just have never, I don't know, that's never been the system for me, but I have the students store their ELA books in here. They're very flimsy, so I keep them in here instead of in their messy desks, and that works out pretty well for us. I don't know if I'll use the system next year, but we'll see. And then instead of using their mailboxes for mailboxes, I use these file organizers from Target. I have 2 of them, and they just say 1 through 10 take-home folders and 11 through 20 take-home folders, and they put their take-home folders in here every single morning. And then if I have papers to send home, I just do it. Again, I don't know if it's the best method. It works for me. It's easy for me to be able to see who brought in their folder and who didn't. I don't know. It works, but if you have any other suggestions, let me know. And then back around to the front of the room, we have our maps, which are big in 3rd grade. I have a water cooler from a wonderful parent who donated it to our classroom this year, because around the portables, we don't get in the school much to fill from the water bubbler. And then our iReady Star, which we are working on, our goals. Don't mind our dirty door. White paint on doors seemed like a good idea in September, but it is now May, so not so much.